Hey, good morning to those of you out there on the West Coast. Good afternoon to those of you here on the East Coast with me. I'm excited to get started talking about LinkedIn in particular today and how we can, as government contractors, connect with teammates, etc. I'm a big fan of LinkedIn. I've been using it since 2007, but I've really been using it strongly in the last 6 years to engage a lot more people. So we'll talk about that to a degree, but I'd like to start off my training with a quick tip as a way to say thank you to those of you showing up early and on time. Let me just get some of my tech done there. And so my tip for you today is don't focus on the negative, focus on the positive. I often run into situations just personally where something will piss me off or make me mad, right? Or something I want to happen doesn't happen. It could be something like I reach out to federal buyers or something, they don't get back to me, or I reach out to somebody in the industry, they don't get back to me. I'm like, why not? And I focus on that instead of the positive. Or like just happened this morning where I watched somebody who literally was taking some of my content and just sharing it out themselves without any kind of credit or anything. I'm like, whatever. I'm pretty good at forgetting about the stuff that doesn't really matter. And the things that tend to upset us the most are the things that tend to matter less. And the reason I say focus on the positive, not the negative, is that when we get ourselves caught up in like the two scenarios I just said, where these things like, how come they're not getting back to me? We don't put our energy where it needs to be, with the people who are getting back to us, with the things that are going in our direction. I just talked about somebody taking some of my content, putting it out there, not sharing that, it came from me, or, hey, I saw this on Neil's thing or something. The reality is, if I just remind myself that I'm trying to change the entire government contracting world by improving the process, if I've got people who are pushing my process out better and further, fine. I don't need the credit. And I got to remind myself sometimes so I don't get focused on the negative. And I really want to encourage you to do that, because as we start doing more and more sales, today it's going to be about doing sales in LinkedIn. But as we do more of the sales, sometimes our natural inclination is to focus on the things that aren't going our way. But there's all sorts of things that are going our way. And those are really good things that can be developed. So that's just my tip for those of you showing up early and on time. I really appreciate it. I also appreciate those of you engaging in chat, putting your company name in there. Looking at this last one, Gagan, CEO of 𝐓𝐇𝐈𝐒, Microsoft Services for the federal sector. That's perfect, by the way. I really like that, because now I'm going to start tying in 𝐓𝐇𝐈𝐒 to Microsoft. So Microsoft Services, whatever it is, if I hear that, now I'm able to remember Gagan there. And I want to encourage all of you to do that as well. Okay, so we're going to dive into the meat of today's training, and I'm going to do it a little differently than I normally do my training. So if you've been here before, I usually use slides. I'm not doing hardly any slides today, maybe at the very end, but I really want to dive into LinkedIn and show you exactly how I do what I do and what I'm encouraging you to do. I want to literally show it to you. I want you to see a couple of the bumps that I run into. That way you don't see a perfect version of what I'm telling you to do. And then you go off and try it and you run into bumps. I'm like, no, I want you to see that I run into bumps as well. And I just back up a little bit and go another direction. By the way, we have a whole bunch of people joining us in the chat. So make sure you are reaching out, letting folks know if you're open to connections. Okay, let me share my screen and we're going to dive into this. And I'm just going to use a couple of slides. If you don't know who I am, my name is Neil McDonald. I'm the president of the 𝐓𝐇 Chamber of Commerce, and I want to welcome you to my federal sales training, where I provide tips for success in the federal market. I spent 20 years in the federal market as a government contractor, and since 2018, I've been teaching people like you that government contracting is not a secret, it's just a process. When we follow a process A to Z, we're going to have repeatable, predictable results. It was funny, I was watching a video. I just did a newsletter. Speaking of, subscribe to my newsletter. I just did a newsletter article today, and this was on PWin and how you can really strengthen your capture activities to make opportunities increase the chances of winning. But anyways, I was looking back at a particular video I wanted to add into that newsletter article so you could watch it. And this was a couple of years ago, but I literally said, process, it's from A to Z. And when you follow it, it's repeatable, predictable results. I am doing that same thing that I'm teaching you to do. Okay, so as I mentioned, make sure you subscribe to our newsletter. Got a lot of good information in there. And then also register for training. This is a big one. I'm going to show you today because we're doing LinkedIn, I finally get to show what I mean when I say, when you register for training, you have this increased ability to connect with 100 plus more people, right? We have over 100 people registered for training today, and your ability to connect with them is awesome. We have over 100 people in our training live right now. And today is the 13th, I think, of March 2024. But we have over 200 people, but only about 150 people registered. And we'll figure out, I can't remember what that number is. But those people you can connect with. And I really want you to understand, this is you building your network. Why go off to a conference in the hopes of meeting people, but not walk around the hallway and say hi to somebody, right? And it's the same thing here. You've got this running networking event, my live training plus LinkedIn in general. It's this running network event where you can meet people who are totally open to meeting with you and talking about how your two businesses can work together. Literally just this morning, I was putting together a fairly small company doing less than 10 million with a bigger small business doing closer to 100 million. And that $100 million company together with $1 billion company, and making these introductions. And it was just through networking. And so it's awesome to be able to do this. I want you to be able to do that as well. The other thing is, when you register for training, it's a simple little thank you that I very much appreciate. Okay, so really fancy. Oh, before we get started in the training, I do have speaking of billion-dollar firms, I do have a $1 billion company who's looking for 5 small businesses. And so you are going to be bigger small if you're the right company for this. But they're looking for 5 small businesses to help them in these 11 areas. And these areas are artificial intelligence, big data, cybersecurity, health IT, mobile IT, quantum computing, zero trust, things like that. All of them kind of fall under what we call emerging technologies. If that is something, if that's your space and you're able to work with a large firm and bring 3 past performances in the federal space, and you have the PWSs to drive towards that, then reach out to me on direct messaging through LinkedIn, and I'll make an introduction once I do a quick check. Send me your UEI so I can check USA spending. I don't want to be sending people off to them without doing my own due diligence first. But generally, you're looking for past performances in the several million on the task order level. So if that's you, reach out, let me know. Okay, so I guess I don't have a slide to go through on that. So let me just slide over to LinkedIn and get started. So inside of LinkedIn, the first thing I want to talk to you about is getting found buyers. And then I'm going to, the second half of today's training is going to be about engaging, proactively going out there and finding them. So one is reactive, getting found by buyers, and the other is proactive. How do I engage them? That's the 2 levels that I'm going to cover down today. This article here right in my feed is a perfect one for me to start with. This is a post in my feed that is in LinkedIn, and hopefully you're familiar with LinkedIn, right? And if you're on YouTube, come over. This is where people are. But what I wanted you to see is how people see you for the first time on LinkedIn, right? This is browsing, and I'll show you more as it relates to searching in a second. But look right here that we've got this DoD CIBR thing, and I'm not diving into the meat of this, but this post is in my space. It's government contracting, it's DoD. In this case, it's small business innovation, research, or technology transfer, et cetera. And that's in our space, for the most part, all of us. And down here, you can see that there's 3 comments and 95 people engaged. And this is the first place I would go. If I come in here, imagine I'm DoD, or imagine I'm another company who looks in and goes, well, who else is engaging? Right? It's fun to see Nina here. She's a friend in our community, which I love seeing this. But this is what people see, right? And I'm not making any judgment. I'm making recommendations. But when you look at Jason right here, right? Vice President Defense Programs, it doesn't tell me what they do. But if you come back up, you can see Nina does program management. She does stuff with small business. Here you've got Deb is doing cloud, AI, ML, DevSecOps. And so if somebody looks at that and they start scrolling and they just start seeing stuff, like here's an interesting one, right? Even for yourself. This is a chief over at AFMC, Air Force Material Command. I'm assuming that's what that is. But same thing. So some of these titles, when they come down, Director of Marketing doesn't tell me what PDS is, right? So it's not bad to put your title into a LinkedIn headline. That's what this is called. But what you want to do is to put a little bit more that tells people, hey, this is what we do. So here you can see this person is trying to highlight NASA 24, but they're saying DevSecOps. And so in my head, that's all I'm really looking at. Coming down here, it's this person's bridging gaps. A lot of helping small business. Here's another friend to our community. So CEO of Defense Solutions. pioneering leadership. So I'm seeing a lot of award stuff, but I don't actually know what they do, right? And I'm coming down, and as we come forward, technology, innovation, and collaboration, think about your own profile and what you say. There's a lot of folks. I just want to find one more. Let's see another good one. So here, I kind of like this one. Accelerating change at the speed of relevancy. I feel like I wrote that one, and I did not, but it sounds so cool. Connecting the pieces that'll help the warfighter win today and get ready for tomorrow. This is a tagline type thing, but it really is helping those of us who might be supporting the warfighter. So anybody in the military services, DOD, we would be looking at this person, and from what they're saying, we would see them as more of an innovative side of the arm as well. This is actually somebody I need to reach out to, because I get contacted by the government all the time looking for innovative small businesses. But so this is what people look at, right? So when they're going to be looking at your profile, I want to make sure they can see the right things. One other quick tip to provide: everybody does a thumbs up, but look how few people do this. If I posted something, right? Because I do the same thing. I'm trying to attract companies like yours and people like you to be able to come into my community. We have this big network, tens of thousands of people in our network, right? And I want to be able to keep bringing people in. But if I did a post and I came in here and I said, oh, there are a lot of people, let me just look over here. It's just easy, efficient for me to see, here's Jonathan. I'm instantly looking at Jonathan. And then here's another single one. And all these are, by the way, and I'll come back and show you, but here's an AWS certified practitioner. I might look at Barb because I've got a customer that does AWS services, software development, and I might look at Barb to see where she's at. Maybe is there a fit? Because that's not even as full of a title as I'd like, but because she has that, it really is pretty niched down. And I'm going to look at this one last person just because it's fun. So I help organizations achieve the impossible with the power of cloud and artificial intelligence. That is a really clear kind of statement. If you're doing construction or something else and you're not interested, if you're not interested in cloud and AI solutions to benefit you, or you're not pursuing it, then you're going to move past Christy's profile. But if you're interested, then you would click on it and move forward. One other thing I just wanted to mention, I said there was only 3 comments. If you can see here, let me zoom in a little bit. You can see there's 95 people who gave it a thumbs up, 96 people, but only 3 comments. I'm going to talk in a minute about engagement, but this is an example of if you put in a comment, especially a well thought out comment, 95 people potentially are going to see you. And I guarantee you, if there's 95 thumbs up, then this post has been seen by several thousand people on LinkedIn. Right? So there's difference between impression, visibility, and engagement. And we in the government contracting space engage the least among the entire social media community out there. We're very reserved in our engagement. And so 95 is a ton. So here's what I was saying. You just hover over the like, and instead of hitting it and doing a default, you can choose any one of these, right? Hey, that was insightful. Here's why I found it insightful. So we'll come back to that in a second. I want to show you a couple of examples of companies that have got it going right the way I like it, and show you a couple of other things. So if I liked your tagline, and in this case, we've got Erica Hansen, and she's got a tagline. Zoom in for 1 second. Imagine seeing this on the comments or the thumbs up on the previous screen I just showed you. But here I could see she is saying, hey, we're a cybersecurity firm focused on eliminating risk, increasing resilience, and locking down federal agency infrastructures. I mean, if you're into the cyber side, if you're looking for small businesses or the agency is looking for vendors who can support the need, Erica is communicating very quickly what Steel Toed does here. So imagine I found her somewhere else and I liked that headline and I clicked and I said, let me go look at Erica's profile over on LinkedIn. And the second thing I want you to pay attention to. So the first one is headline. The second one is this banner. When I land, the banner is communicating, reinforcing that message that she had told me through her headline over in the comments on some other post. I come in and I instantly see, okay, they do cybersecurity, and it looks like it's in 3 or 4 buckets here: assessment services, security services, governance, risk compliance, right? And then they are apparently a CMMC 3PAO. And this is awesome, right? So I can see that. And if I'm interested in this type of company, I then begin to scroll down. And so for Erica's, the next one that I want you to pay attention to, I'm going to give you 4, is she has her capability statement here. So I can click on this and learn more about this company. I can see what they've done, who they've done work with, like Ditra and Navy, etc. Let me zoom back out here. Oh, there we go. So I look in, and because Erica had a banner that attracted me enough to keep looking at the profile, I'm scrolling down and I'm learning more about her company. And I'm able to do that through the capability statement being in this featured section. And then the last part is if I come down a little lower, there's an about section, and I want you to pay attention to this because this is how people learn about your company. I'm able to come into the about section, and I can see this paragraph here that it looks like it's restating the headline, which is perfect because the headline actually is not indexed or searchable. So she's taking it, putting it here, but then she's putting in some key information. We're government contractors. So if you want to reach us, here's our CAGE and our UEI. Those are not sensitive numbers. It's totally okay to put them in here. And you can see right there, they're putting in 3 core competency descriptions, right? And it looks like she's got a description about her as a professional. And then she's going down and describing the company again on the different certifications, et cetera, and the past performances. This is what I want you to do. That same kind of process as you go forward. Let me show you one more, just as I'm tracking my time. So here's Nina. So first thing we do is look at Nina's headline, delivering professional support services, including deaf communication access that empowers communication for all and staffing that enhances organizational effectiveness, right? This is a headline that is communicating what do we do at Graham. And so if I'm somewhere else, or excuse me, if she's somewhere else and she's engaging in the post and the content that is on LinkedIn, she gives a thumbs up, et cetera. And somebody sees that and they look and they go, oh, that's something I'm interested in learning more about, whether it's teaming or having her come in to our agency. So then they visit her profile, and the first thing people see on your profile when they show up is your banner. It's just right there in their face. And so this is the first time to confirm that when they clicked on your profile to come visit, that it's the same thing. So here you can see professional services and personnel. So that's people, and they're doing administration services, technical services, sign language, and some engineering support, et cetera. And they actually put their website here, which is an interesting thing and makes it easy for somebody to click on it and go away. By the way, before I go down, one thing to keep in mind, and I don't know if Nina has this will be interesting. So, okay, make sure you fill this out. These websites should be here so you can click right on it. She's not trying to hide. She's trying to network and connect with potential, in her case, staff employees as well as customers. And so she's making it easy for them to contact her, right? You want to do that same thing. So if we come down, the next thing you see is they've got their capability statement, or she has it. And coming down to the about section, same kind of thing. She's pointing out pretty quickly what Graham does. She's pointing out that they're an 8A and a woman-owned small business, giving them the ability and us the ability to check her out on DSBS or USA Spending, FPDS, etc. That's the government market research path. And then just describing what they do and how they've done a lot of work. The White House, the DHS, Commerce, Justice. I mean, it's just too many for me to say. But clearly, they're communicating right away. This is what we do. And this content in the About section, this is indexed. And so it's indexed by Google as well as LinkedIn. And so when you're searching, you want to get found. Let me just show you one more, and I'll go through a little fast. Or on this one, you can see that Laura here has delivering cutting-edge additive manufacturing, large format printing, right? Communicating right away that this is what we do. Up here, this banner is beautiful. There's nothing fancy about it. Literally, if you look at it, it's her logo, a couple of words, and a couple of these little kind of icons, right? I bet she didn't go off and spend thousands of dollars to create these icons. These are just little icons that you could probably find in any PowerPoint or Word tool and put it together. But the banner is so clean and easy to see that they do 3D printing and additive manufacturing, large format printing, and post-printing products and services. What this banner helps a person who comes to your profile, like Laura's profile, do is decide, do I want to scroll down and keep learning more? And if they do, they're able to come down here, and here she's got capability statement, but she also has case studies in here. I know that actually Nina has a couple of flyers that she could put in that are unique flyers to some of the services she does. But as she comes down, you can also see that she's got same kind of thing. Putting her capability statement in here in this type of format makes it easy for people to quickly do some research and look at it. One thing I would tell you is these 3 people, Erica, Nina, and Laura are part of our community. Reach out to them as you move forward. So those are the things I want you to pay attention to on your own profile to get found, right? And the idea is you want to be visible when somebody is looking for you. You need to focus on your headline. And just coming back here really quick on Nina's, you want to focus on your headline. That's what's in the comments. When people see comments, they'll see that. Then you want to make sure you cover down on your banner. You want to get your capability statement into the featured section and just reach out if you got a question about that. And then the last part is you want to get your capability statement written just in this easy flow format. When you do that, it's going to make your profile communicate your message and talk to your potential teammates and buyers in a way that they can understand quickly that you're a good fit for them and they should reach out and try to network and connect more. Okay, so one other thing I wanted to show you is just an understanding of how many people are coming in and how good LinkedIn is at building your network. And so I'll just show you mine, and mine's not typical. And I'm just going to go back the last 365 days, kind of show you a long trend instead of showing you something like this. Like literally 1 week, I got 1,600 viewers. That was because of a particular post, and pretty soon that'll go off and I'll be in my average. But you can see here, and let me zoom in a little bit. These are the people who have viewed my profile, and you can see it just continues to increase. As I've been doing a lot of the engagement on LinkedIn and trying to communicate with you, it just constantly goes up and slowly is going up. And you can see in 2024, I've started to trend above 500. And what that means is every single week, 500 people are looking at my profile. And these aren't just all new people. They're also people who are in my network and are going back and going, man, I saw Neil before, I connected with them. Let me come back and look at his stuff. But sometimes people come back to your profile 4 or 5, 10 or 20 times when you re-enter the world. And so imagine a federal buyer's like that. If you post a piece of content about the best elevator strategies or the best data analytics strategies or something, and a buyer is attracted to that content, they might go look at your profile. And so you can see that I'm down 25%, but that's no big deal. I'm trending up because I'm always here. And that's something I really want you to do. It doesn't have to begin with content. It can begin with engagement, which is what I'm going to show you in a second. But I did want to show you just who's looking at, right? One of the things that I pay attention to a lot is I want to be a national, or think about it global. If you go OCONUS from Guam to the U.S. Virgin Islands, I want to be helping contractors, small businesses in particular, from Guam to the U.S. Virgin Islands and everywhere in between. My ultimate goal is one day for this not to be the Washington, D.C. area. What it's telling me is that the most viewers of my content are coming from D.C. I'm like, I got to push it out the West Coast. I want to keep getting it farther out there, so I'm engaging more and more people out there. And then you notice the Air Force is the top viewer. 12% of the views that I had in the last year are from the Air Force. This is ideal. Let me just expand this. You can see, let me zoom in a little bit. You can see these group of companies, right? Who's viewing my content? It's your target audience. It really is less my target audience and more yours, right? Air Force, Army, Navy, Booz Allen. This self-employed are generally the small business owners. And then it goes right back into Air Force, DOD, Department of State's, Veterans Affairs. I am reaching the audience I want to reach, because what I'm hoping that those agencies give me what I need to help you do your job, right? Get information earlier, get access to program offices easier, et cetera. But you have the ability to look at a lot of this data as well. If you're using a free version of LinkedIn, you might have a limited constraints in there. You want to expand it. Or you want to get the paid version. There is no doubt in my mind about it. Don't have arguments about it. If you want to build a $10 million business, let's say, then invest in a tool like LinkedIn, which is the fundamental networking platform for professionals in general, and government contractors in particular. So the last thing I really wanted to just jump on is how you can engage with people out there. I was talking about, and let me see if I can just back up to this guy. I want to stick here for a second. So one of the things you can do is start, when you're thinking about building your network and you're trying to engage, you can come in, and let me just close these profiles really quick. You can come in and engage with some of these people, and you start looking down and you start trying to find out ones that might be interesting to you. So let's say you're a government contractor, which you are. Let's scroll through. What I'm looking for is maybe I can find companies that I'm less familiar with. Like, for example, I'm going to pull Jeff up because I'm interested in doing something with NASA. NASA's actually asking for some of our help. So I'm going to keep coming down here. This is just Cyber stuff. So here's a DoD business development. I'm interested in getting into DoD, and this is Arch Systems. If I mean, I know who James is, but if I didn't know who he is, I would reach out like this. It's great to see the Apex and PTAX folks out there. I'm going to come down one more. Adam, so I did, my last company, I did a ton of, I don't know if this is the same Adams, but a ton of, it probably is not because the guy's name's Adam, but a ton of my work was with Adam, some large company, can't remember what it was, but let's keep going down. I want to find one more that looks good. So here's Chief of Staff of Office of Small Business Utilization. My favorite thing about this is what office, what agency, right? So I might go in, because he's engaging on LinkedIn, maybe he's doing a lot more stuff. I'm going to come down one more, just looking. I'm going pretty fast. Just looking. Who do we got? Show me somebody. I'm just looking for the military or government, actually. Engineer, lead engineer, owner, CEO. Well, you can see there's all, by the way, you can see that there's all sorts of business developers and owners of companies focusing on innovation at the lowest level of Department of Air Force. So there you go. I'll click that one. You want to reach out to these business developers. That's how you do teaming. That's exactly what I was trying to say in today's training is being able to reach out. And so here I can see that Jeffrey's at NASA. And if I scroll down just really quick, I'm going past his thing. I want to see NASA Proposal Writing Experience Academy. That's interesting. I don't know. That doesn't seem like NASA. I hold that off and come look at it later. And then James, here's Arch System, right? And I come in, I can see he's senior developer, but I'm going to click on just coming in, business development. I'm going to go to Arch and see, this is what I do when I'm trying to build relationships and looking for companies. Let's say 50 people or higher, 25 and higher. When I do that, I can get in the door more. But here, if I look at people, I can see that Arch has 56 people. That's an ideal one for me to begin to try to network with. And I want to come back really quick just to James here. Now that I know that his company looks good, I'm going to sit there and try to pay attention to where is he engaged and what's he doing. And he's not overly engaged out there, but it's funny. I wonder if he was watching my training. What are the chances? Or somebody else's? Well, we'll come back because that's taking a second. So this guy's at GSA. Remember, that's what we were trying to look for. Hey, Tracy. And then this is the last one I was looking for. So here is SpaceWorks, right? And so if you don't know this, Department of Air Force has has the United States Air Force and Space Force. And so SpaceWorks is an innovation arm of Space Force, I'm assuming. And so if I come down here, though, I'm able to see where he's been, right? You can see what he's been doing in the Space Force and how we move forward. And now, so it's interesting. He's a fellow out there, but he's nowhere else. And so I would want to be tracking him because I'm very interested in the Space Force kind of activity. And I'm running out of time, so I want to just wrap up. But the point is, you can look in here at these people, and one of the ways that you can engage is coming back to this very first lesson is to engage in the comments or in the thumbs up, et cetera, and then the comments. When you do that, you become visible to other people. They're able to see what you do. Like the reason I clicked on Jeremiah was he's focusing on innovation. I'm like, that's interesting. That's what I want to get into. You want to begin to get in there as well. And you can start by just going in and giving thumbs up or whatever version of that is. Get used to doing that for weeks. And then you can start adding content or comments that engage people out there. Let me just track on my time so I get out of here. Here's what I want you to remember from today's training. Go into LinkedIn and make sure you upload your capability statement, the PDF, right into your featured section on your file. It's the quickest step to do. Literally, it's less than 60 seconds. The second thing is add an updated banner similar to Erica or Nina or Laura that I showed, something just really straightforward that when somebody lands on your profile, they go, oh, they do this, this, and this, right? And then the last one is add a headline. This might take a little bit more work, and don't worry about it. You can always come back and change it again. But currently, or right now, change it from your job title in your company to we help you do this in order to achieve this. We help you do this in order to achieve this. When you do that, you'll have a headline that's much better than just a job title and a company name. Okay, running out of time. Just want you to remember as you move forward in this and all activities, government contracting, it's not a secret. It's just a process. I'll see you in the next training. By the way, if you're a large or small and you want to connect with that billion-dollar firm, just ping me on direct messaging and LinkedIn.